Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now with the main headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi remarks on questions of father's consent to marriage. Madagascar, representative of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi, confirms holding of Husseini sessions. Amnesty International warns of ongoing war in Gaza, calls for a ceasefire. Return of 192 Iraqi families from Al-Hol camp in northern Syria causes controversy. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers. This is Yunus Dawood and you're watching Shia Waves live from Imam Hussein TV 3. The daily scholarly meetings of Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Husseini Shirazi was held on Friday and Saturday the 25th and the 26th of Rabi' al-Thani. In these sessions, like the previous meetings, the Marja answered the questions of the attendees about various jurisprudence issues. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi answered a question about forced and reluctant marriage of a girl and said that the marriage contract of a female who is forced into reluctant marriage is invalid. According to the consensus among jurists, this means the consent of the female is a prerequisite and the validity of the marriage and is of lack of consent is revealed. The marriage will not be valid. The representative of the Supreme Religious Authority, His Eminence Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Husseini Shirazi, in the city of Mahajanga, Madagascar, Hujjat al-Islam wal-Muslimin, Sheikh Muhammad Radi Wasram, described the Husseini ceremonies as educational institutions that have produced the best Shia generations. Sheikh Wasram said in an interview with Shia Waves agency that the city of Mahajanga is witnessing the birth of generations carrying the great Shia belief and believing that their path must be paved with faith and service to the Prophet Muhammad and his family, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhim ajma'in. Sheikh Wasram also mentioned that the Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi and its affiliated centres continue to hold Husseini and Quranic sessions, which are widely attended by Shia followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhum salam. Amnesty International warned on Sunday against continuing the war in Gaza, noting that the ongoing war is leading to an unprecedented humanitarian catastrophe in the region. The organisation called for a ceasefire in Gaza, stating that it has collected 1 million signatures from around the world on a petition regarding this matter, according to the Palestinian news agency. The agency also noted the cutting off of water, electricity, medical services and fuel supplies in the region, leading to the collapse of the healthcare system. Additionally, the forced displacement of nearly 1.5 million people from the Gaza Strip to its south has caused a humanitarian catastrophe. Amnesty International described what is happening in Gaza as a stain of shame on humanity, noting that there is a lack of action from the international community despite more than a month passing since the shedding of civilian blood and the unimaginable humanitarian suffering experienced by the people of Gaza. Let us remind our respective viewers of today's headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi remarks on questions of father's consent to marriage. Madagascar representative of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi confirms holding of Husseini sessions. Amnesty International warns of ongoing war in Gaza, calls for a ceasefire. Also tonight, nations negotiate terms of global plastic pollution treaty in Kenya. Iraqi security official announced on Sunday that 192 Iraqi families comprising of 776 people were heading back to the country after leaving Al-Hol camp in northeastern Syria, which houses relatives of members of the Islamic State or the IS terrorist group. The Syrian Observatory of Human Rights had pointed out that on Saturday that buses carrying those families had left Al-Hol camp for Iraqi. The return of relatives of terrorist group's member is still causing controversy among the population in Iraq, which fought a 3-year war that ended in late 2017 with the expulsion of the group after it controlled about a third of the country's territory. In an effort to reduce the hostility that these families may face after the return from Syria, their members are first housed in a Jeddah camp, where they undergo security checks and a phase of psychological rehabilitation, according to Iraqi officials. Despite the challenges, Iraq is one of the few countries that have regularly repatriated its citizens from Al-Hol camp. And now continue with some short news. A delegation from the Zahra TV channel visited a number of Iraqi cities, including Tal Afar and Tuz Kharmato, to meet with the Turkmen Shias and learn about their needs. The delegation also visited archaeological and Islamic sites that were destroyed by ISIS. Mohammed Zain al-Oglo, director of the Zahra TV channel, said that the delegation exchanged views, perspectives and ideas with the distinguished figures on the future of the Shias in Tal Afar district and the Tuz Kharmato region, and how to deliver their voices and highlight their oppression, as well as following up on their religious, ceremonial and cultural activities in the media. As a result of the visit, the Zahra TV channel and the Imam Hussein TV channel group agreed to launch a number of media projects and programs to serve the Turkmen Shia in Iraq. The British news website The National revealed Germany's engagement in the Middle East in its first review of its defense policy since the war in Ukraine took out in the era of peace, noting that the German parliament voted to keep 500 soldiers in Iraq to combat the terrorist ISIS group. The website quoted German Chancellor Olaf Scholz as saying the conflict in Gaza shows the great importance of the German military presence in Lebanon and Iraq. He mentioned that Berlin's military culture has not changed since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, adding that we bear international responsibility for more than ever, and we must, when necessary, commit to it through military participation. The city of Parchinar, west of the Pakistani capital Islamabad, is witnessing the construction of the largest Shia mosque in the city to hold religious ceremonies and revive the rituals of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Media reports viewed by Shia Waves agency that the central mosque of Parchinar is under construction at a rapid pace and is being constructed a very large area to accommodate thousands of worshippers. They quoted that the administrators are saying the mosque will accommodate thousands of worshippers daily, as well as mourners who participate in the reviving of the rituals of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. A calligraphic handwritten Holy Quran weighing over 30 kilos is put on the show at the ongoing 42nd Sharjah International Book Fair Festival, the SIBF. Jalina, who spent more than a year working on one of its kind edition containing all 114 surahs spread across 604 pages, says this was her way of paying homage to Islam's holiest writing. She used help of her husband and son in applying final touches to the Holy Quran that was written on ivory cards and comes with a casting made of teak wood. The Quran House, one of the centers affiliated to Imam Hussein Holy Shrine, has held its 5th international conference headlined The Pioneering Role of Ahlul Bayt in Quranic Interpretation, a study of methodology and tools. At the University of Warith al-Anbiya, Karar al-Shimmari, the head of the Quranic Media Center, said in a statement followed up by Shia Waves agency that the House held the 5th International Conference of Imam Hussein alayhi salam at the University of Warith al-Anbiya in cooperation with the Islamic Sciences Colleges and a number of Islamic colleges in Iraqi universities. He added that 80 research papers were on the list of the conference by researchers from several Arab, Islamic and foreign universities including Iran, Lebanon, Sudan, Nigeria and Britain, in addition to the host country Iraq. The scientific committee accepted 42 of the papers presented. The latest negotiations towards a global treaty to combat plastic pollution opened in Nairobi on Monday, with tensions expected as nations tussle over what should be included in the pact. According to the United Nations Environment Programme, about 98% of the single-use plastics, like bottles or packaging, are derived from fossil fuels. About 400 million tons of plastic waste are produced annually, of which less than 10% is recycled. On Sunday, a group of 20 international scientists sent an open letter to negotiators asking them to put health of the heart of the talks and aim for a treaty that reduces production volumes of plastics and mandates proper testing of all chemicals in plastics. At least 31 people have died in floods caused by heavy rains in Somalia. Some 500,000 people have also been forced to flee their flooded homes. Awais said another 1.2 million people could have been affected by the disaster and the death toll may rise. Since the beginning of November, Somalia has been battered by relentless rains, with torrents of water flooding homes and farmland. The greatest damage was reported in the Gedo region in south and Hiran region in the center of the country, where the Shabelle River burst its banks and washed away houses in the town of Beledweyne. Indian Muslim activists say the northern Indian state of Uttarakhand is experiencing a disturbing surge in anti-Muslim hate triggered by an accusation of love jihad. Love jihad is a Hindu conspiracy theory alleging that Muslim men are inciting Hindu women into marriage to convert them to Islam, made world famous by the Hindutva hate film The Kerala Story. In May, some Hindutva groups organized a rally in Porola demanding the expulsion of all Muslims within 15 days, while notices were plastered on Muslim homes and shops, branding them as encroachers and outsiders, igniting fear among the minority Muslim population. A recent Human Rights Watch report has accused the ruling BJP of encouraging hate crimes against minorities and failing to hold the perpetrators accountable. We have reached the end of today's Shia Waves show. Let's remind our viewers of today's headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi remarks on questions of father's consent to marriage. Madagascar representative of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi confirms holding of Husseini sessions. Amnesty International warns of ongoing war in Gaza, calls for a ceasefire. Return of 192 Iraqi families from Al-Hol camp in northern Syria causes controversy. Nations negotiate terms of global plastic pollution treaty in Kenya. Heavy rains and floods in Somalia leaves dozens killed, 500,000 displaced. Indian state sees surge in Hindutva anti-Muslim hate speech. You can view the latest news on Shia Waves' website, and you can send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contact us on the numbers at the bottom of your screen. This is the end of today's news. Thank you for watching, and we pray to Allah the Almighty to hasten the appearance of the Master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I am the sun, the star at the center of your universe. I am a wondrous threat made of hydrogen and helium, marveled by poets and artists alike. Come too close to me, and you will be scorched.